All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of the Cat Myers Show. This is a very, very special episode because it's not just any guest, but this is half of my DNA sitting here, Miss Emma McGraw Myers. As you know, this show is a legacy of The Voice of the People, a radio show hosted by my dad, Dr. Kenneth Myers Sr., and his slogan was, "I love you enough to tell you the truth, and I respect you enough to give you the facts." It aired on WAAW Shout 94.7 FM down in Aiken, South Carolina. He was also on WASC up in Spartanburg on Saturday mornings. So the purpose of my show is to entertain you, to educate you, but most importantly, to empower you. Today we have an empowering guest, my mom. Welcome to the Cat Myers Show.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to have been invited.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I asked you some familiar questions, but I have some special questions just for you. But listeners, I want to tell you more than just this is my mom. I want you to know who you're hearing from. So Emma McGraw Myers is Chief Operating Officer, COO of Advanced Care Management, LLC, which employs case managers statewide to conduct assessments, develop service plans, and provide care coordination to the elderly and disabled on Medicaid. She works closely with the CEO, my uncle, Tim Davis, to ensure that their case managers meet or exceed quality assurance guidelines and excel in client satisfaction expectations. Advanced Care Management was founded in 2007 and is the second largest case management company here in the state of South Carolina. Mommy was born in Hartsville, South Carolina, but reared in Columbia. She is a second-generation graduate of Richland School District 1. She holds a Bachelor of Art degree in social work and a master's degree in social work administration from Florida State University. Her professional career began in 1975 as a management trainee with United Way. She worked nearly 20 years for both the national and local United Ways in various capacities. She was the first African-American appointed as president and Chief Professional Officer of the United Way of Richland County in Mansfield, Ohio, and first African-American Chief Professional Officer of the United Way of Aiken, South Carolina, earning her the reputation as a trailblazer. She is married to retired Brigadier General Ralph E. Bailey of Columbia. They are the proud parents of 4 adult children. She's a Golden and Life member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a Life member of the NAACP, a 30-year member of the First Nazareth Baptist Church. She holds leadership positions on several local, state, national, civic, and community boards, including the AARP of South Carolina, where she's the immediate past state president, Benedict Allen Community Development Corporation, Jones McDonald Neighborhood Association, and the Columbia Association of Black Social Workers. Mrs. Myers, is best known for her engaging board governance, training, interactive strategic planning sessions, and successful charity golf tournaments through EM Consultants. She enjoys mentoring and encouraging others to do their very best. I do also want to share a little bit of what she shared with me before the show. She says she's a South Carolina native, a child of God, an advocate for those who are 50 plus, and voice of the least, the lost, and often left behind. When I asked her what her passions were or areas of expertise, she said relationships and the power of the vote. Well, I want us to go ahead and jump right on in.
Okay.
No warm-up needed. We're going to warm up with these questions.
Okay.
Did Grandma Toy teach you how to cook? That's how we're starting tonight. Yes.
What a way to start. Every person should have a hero or a shero in their lives. And I was fortunate to have an amazing mom and, of course, a very gracious and loving father. My mom, who you called Grandma Toy, was an excellent cook. She was a home economist, and she worked in the public schools Yes, your grandmother not only taught me how to cook, she taught me how to survive. She taught me
Mommy.
skills. She
If
taught.
Grandma Emma, if Grandma, sorry, I said Grandma
See,
Emma.
that's what you
If
brought her spirit in. Thank you. Hello,
if
Grandma
Grandma
Emma.
Toy taught you how to cook, why didn't you cook like that for us every day?
Well, cooking is about, it's similar to a ministry. And when I say it's similar to a
You have to have a
ministry,
calling to cook.
yes. And you have to add that ingredient that you sometimes don't seem to want to put in. And that is the secret ingredients to cooking is love. You gotta cook with love. You gotta put some love in it, and you gotta stir it up, shake it up, and bake it. And you can tell, and you can't rush it. You can't rush it. So, did
I'm
my
sorry. Did you, next question, did you teach me how to cook?
did I teach you how to cook? Um, but there are just some people that have little patience and little interest in doing things. Now,
So you saying you tried to teach me how to cook, or did
no,
you
when you were
try?
when you were young and vulnerable, you know, a child from 1 to 5, from 0 to 5, you can influence and teach and love and help to grow and instill values in them. When you were 0 to 5, girl, there wasn't anything you didn't want to do, want to learn, and want to be a part of. And so, yes, you helped to bake and shake and learned all of those things. But now, by the time you had reached 5, your brother had come along and you transformed.
Okay, that was a very long answer that didn't answer. So I'm gonna try a new question.
But to answer the question, did I teach you
Did
how
you
to
teach
cook?
me how to cook?
Yes.
Did you try to teach me
Yes.
how to cook?
I did. I not only
What
tried
did
to
you teach
teach
me
you,
how to cook?
I not only did I try to teach you, I taught you how to cook. You were so excited about cooking. When I wasn't there, you decided to bake some cookies. Okay.
Baking is not cooking.
Oh, it's a part of cooking. It is there are salads that people make with an art. It's a culinary skill that people engage in. So yes, you not only learn how to cook, you learn the basics for cooking. And contrary to popular belief, I did not starve you. I helped you to eat
Okay, we're going
healthy.
way off track now.
I helped you to eat healthy.
We're like, I did a post about not
Mhm.
cooking, and it got a lot of traction, and I think it triggered a lot of men. But I just want the listeners to hear.
Uh-huh.
Here, I got it honest. Mommy don't cook like that. She didn't teach me how to cook like that. She remembers teaching me when I was 0 to 5.
0 to 5.
Right.
0 to
So
5.
that's when I learned how to cook.
You did. Yeah.
So
You learned all of those skills there. But let's talk
I
about
learned the
those.
basics when I was 0 to 5.
Okay, so one of the things that we also know about mothering is, and remember, we started off with my mother, Toinetta Zimmerman, excuse me, Toinetta Catherine Zimmerman McGraw. But your name, you were no accident. You were a gift from above, and it's unfortunate that you were born on a Friday, but it's okay. We make up for that.
Okay.
So, so that being said, what I wanted to make sure that I did differently, because I grew up in the Black community, and there were things that we in the Black community tend to eat and do and say. And so, my mother, being the home economist that she is and was, we were trying to learn how to eat healthy. And so, there are some things that I stopped doing.
Like frying chicken.
I don't fry a lot of food.
Right.
And that has to do with the reaction that it has to my skin. I don't eat, I love chocolate, but I try not to eat it because it doesn't do well with the skin. There are other kinds of remedies that my mother's mother passed on. And I think some of your audience, they may have even heard of things like castor oil. And but they used to cook with lard. Yes. Okay. And Crisco. Yes. Black folks made Crisco successful. Okay. But so now we are learning how to bake.
Yeah. So I'm going to just
grill.
Steer us a little here.
Okay. So well, I'm glad you're a good cook now because you cook healthy. And sometimes when you prepare a plate, you portion it out. That's a good thing because some people feel that they have to overeat, but you don't have to overeat. You eat what's healthy. And of course, drinking water is what we are encouraging people to do now.
Great. Okay. So you grew up in the 50s and the 60s, and I guess came of age in the 70s.
You can say that.
So, do you believe in traditional gender roles in a relationship?
I'm not sure I understand that. Can you explain what do you mean gender roles?
So the man's supposed to take out the trash, the man is supposed to pay all the bills, the woman is supposed to be the homemaker, and you grew up in a traditional household, conservative Christian Southern household. So do you believe in traditional gender roles in a relationship?
That's an interesting question because yes, I was around in the 50s, but I was like that 0 to 5.
You were 7 and it was still the
50s. I was in that 0 to 5 in the
0
50s.
To 5.
But
you learn how to cook because of your upbringing. Do you believe in traditional gender roles in relationships? Was the question.
Okay, so let's go back to your question. Was that your generation?
Not really.
The Brady Bunch?
Not really. I mean, as a kid, we watched that.
Yeah.
But we kind of grew more up on the Fresh Prince and the Bel-Air and the Cosby Show.
Right. But they were teaching you roles. But now if you talk about the Cosby Show, then you had Felicia Rashad, and she was the breadwinner.
Or was she a lawyer?
She might have been that too.
Because I think he was the doctor.
He was the doctor.
Either way, it was a powerhouse couple.
Yes. And so that's the generation that I grew up in, that you did whatever you needed to do to get the job done. And you didn't get caught up into, okay, this is your responsibility to clean the house, and this is my responsibility to clean the yard. You just do what needs to be done when it needs to get done.
Well, I appreciate you for bringing it back. How come you didn't buy me any light-skinned baby dolls?
Light-skinned baby dolls? Well, my parents bought me dolls that look like me. So why would I change tradition and get you some doll babies that look like somebody else?
I look back at all my dolls and I don't remember seeing any light-skinned doll babies.
You had a few that people gave you, and then I thanked them for the gift. But it was my pride and joy that when we had the opportunity to see the big, beautiful black dolls that they were manufacturing and producing.
And they're not light-skinned.
But as you know, in our family, that we span the gamut of colors. Yeah. We go from very, very dark to very, very light. And because of that, it's important that Black folks don't get caught up in discerning between the complexion of person's skins. Right. That is the white media that promotes those differentials. And it's also important to understand that I did come up in segregation and that I did go to school with, I went to high school with Caucasians, and I did not forget who I was or
Mm-hmm.
whose I was.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a traumatic experience of desegregating public schools in Richland County. But at the same time, it was a rewarding experience because there were a network of us at AC Flora that we formed a bond, and that it was very clear to us, again, while we were there. I graduated from W.A. Perry Middle School, and the year I graduated from middle school was the year that Martin Luther King was assassinated and Malcolm X was assassinated. So my commitment to desegregation was to keep the dream alive.
It's interesting you use the phrase, integration for you was personally traumatizing yet rewarding.
Yes.
I think I'm not going to call out my college right now, but I think if you were to talk to some of my college classmates that came from a Black neighborhood and Black schools, we would also call our experience traumatizing yet rewarding.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. But the point is that what people don't appreciate is Black folks are bicultural, and we're also bilingual.
So when you talked about, you felt like integrating was like your part of keeping the dream alive, of Dr. King's vision of, I guess in some ways, Malcolm X's vision of, empowering Black people.
Right.
And you talked about one of your passions being voting. Your generation talks about voting so much.
Right.
Did that come from integration?
Well, as you know, I taught at USC in the College of Social Work for 12, 14 years. And one of my favorite subjects was talking about community strategies and how you mobilize people to do things.
Okay.
My degree, as you already have noted, as a two-time graduate of Florida State University in Tallahassee. The whole purpose of understanding about how you mobilize people is that you can, another community mobilizer, while I'm thinking about it, of course, is President Obama. He was excellent when it came to mobilizing people. But Black folks were denied the opportunity to register.
Right.
And then they were denied the opportunity to vote. And I think your generation and the Gen X generation doesn't really see voting as important. Yeah. And what has come to play about that is that the current administration, sometimes referred to as the Donald, came up with a playbook. And the playbook of what they were going to do was called Project 2025. It is 900 pages. And for those people who don't believe it, everything in that playbook, he is putting into effect. And one of the things that he has done is that he has targeted Black males, and he's targeted young people, and he has told you all that you don't have to vote again once you elect him as president, because he's going to do X, Y, and Z. For example, he has given false information about, do you remember during COVID that there were the stimulus checks that came out? And we were getting $600 and $800. And when he came into office, Congress passed the COVID relief plan, but he signed his name. So he infiltrated the Black males in our communities and told them that if they voted for him, he would reinstitute those checks and they would start coming back to them, and they would have all of this extra surplus money. And he also told them that it was a waste of their time to go to the polls and vote, and that he would reinstitute those checks, and that's not how that happened. And do you know that in South Carolina, we had millions of voters mostly Black males who didn't go to the polls last October or last November.
And I mean, I understand all the horrible things about President Trump,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't disagree.
Okay.
But I just want to add that before he even became a candidate for president the first time, my generation has not engaged in the passion of voting that your generation has. You know, so I know there's a Trump factor for sure.
Right.
But even before the Trump factor, it's like, I don't know, it's like, you know, people who graduate from Howard, part of their mission statement includes like social and racial equality of rights for people.
Oh, I like that.
You know, similar to the NAACP mission. And I feel like
ACP.
Right. And I feel like with the baby boomers,
Yes.
y'all were kind of birthed with voting as like part of your life's work.
Well, when you were young and enjoyed traveling with your mother, you would go to the polls with me, okay? And there were things that I did in the community that you were also a part of. So I was able to pepper a little bit of my passion and my concern in you, but not everybody feels the same way.
Right.
You know, when you and your brother Kenneth were in school, I was in school. Okay. There were very few things that happened in your school life that I wasn't a part of.
Right.
And the new laws say now is that if your child doesn't come to school, guess who the law now holds accountable? The parent.
Right.
I think that's exciting. That's exciting.
Well, I would just tell you, are you running for office? Because you interview just like a candidate.
Well, as you know, I feel very passionate about people who have the ability, and I think you said that was part of what you like to do is you try to empower people. I try to inspire others to achieve their very best.
Yes.
And in order to inspire someone to achieve, you've got to find out what it is that they get excited about.
Right.
So what is it? You don't have to change the world, but you can make a difference with one. It's sort of that story about picking up the crabs on the beach and throwing them back into the water.
You can't save them all,
You
but
can't
I
save
this
You
one.
can save one.
That's
you can
right.
save one. And so when you talk about running for office, I don't have a desire to be scrutinized, criticized. People complain enough, okay? And it's important that we are careful who we surround ourselves with. We have elected officials, and sometimes when they get elected, they forget who elected them. And we have some renegades that are now in office, and they're getting caught. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on and on. So I enjoy being a private citizen. I enjoy being able to, as you said, I'd like to be an advocate for people who are voiceless. I can only do but so much. I try not to. I try to stay in my lane. But again, I'm not trying to change the world. I'm just trying to say we all have a role and we have a blessing and we have a calling. And we haven't talked about the fact that I started out as an Episcopalian. Well, I grew up. My mother was Methodist, my father was Baptist, and then my mother insisted that I made a decision. And so I went Episcopalian, and I had the influence of a wonderful minister, Father William O'Neill from St. Luke. And I established some wonderful relationships with him. And I thought I had it going on. And then I left Columbia And I found out there wasn't a whole lot of Black Episcopalians around. When we went to Ohio, I got so tired. Or when I went to Aiken too, the lady would always come up and say, "So nice, sweetie, to have you come visit."
Right.
So, but it's okay.
But you were a member.
Yeah, I was a member of that. But that's just because that's how people are. And then I realized it was time for me to come back home. And so I came back to First Nazareth and reconnected with now. Raise up a child as you would want them to be. And hopefully they will not stray very far and they will come back. And so with that being said, I'm glad your dad has poured into you the person that you are, the charming young lady. He would be proud of you most of the time. Okay.
Well, I mean, Daddy poured for sure, but you poured the majority.
Oh, I get some credit. Yeah.
Daddy would say all the time, "You acting like your mother."
Oh, what a compliment. Okay, I hear that. I receive that. Okay. Yes, I married a country bumpkin from Barnwell that did well. He did well. And then he was active in his fraternity and then went on to get, I think in his later years, he was awarded a PhD, right?
An honorary.
Well, he didn't say that part of it.
Right. He just say Dr. Kenneth Myers Sr. But I will say, I really appreciate you, Mommy, for coming on the show.
Well, thank you.
And not only that, Mommy has listened to almost all the episodes.
Yes.
And, I give you a hard time.
You do.
And
thank
you.
You
Give me a hard time also.
That's the way our love is. It's one thing to be surrounded by people who always tell you things that you want to hear. But it's also important to be surrounded by people who will tell you the truth. And sometimes...
I don't know if you know that little trend.
I don't know. What does that mean?
You know how somebody says something and they speak in truth? We used to
finger
snap. Now they say clock it.
Clock it. Okay. All righty then. Well, I'm always willing and open to learn. I have much to learn ahead.
I have so many questions, but you came a little late. So we're going to have to cut it a little short.
Okay. Well, let's come back because I think we should talk about relationships with the people in our circles. And I think we should talk about how we maintain and grow those relationships because people are so mean these days. And I would think that we should spend some time at another time. So
that'll be our next topic. That's the teaser. We're going to talk about relationships and maintain them for next time.
And your book.
Yeah. So I wrote a book called You Were Supposed to Love Me, Reflections of a Recovering Overlover. I'm a certified health and life coach. Coach K is the name of my business. And the theme is, it's time to live your best life. And so this podcast fits under all of that because the guests that I have are living their best lives, as Mommy said, in their lanes. And I think that's what's so important for us to find our lane. So I've been able to find my lane as a lawyer, as a podcast host, as an author. Me and my mom go to the same church, same sorority, and we almost had the same hairstyle today. So maybe next time you'll catch that. But this has been episode 9. I want to thank all of you in the listening audience, whether you've heard all 9 episodes or this is your first one. Thank you so much for listening in. It's the Kat Myers Show. Our theme is to educate you, to entertain you, and most importantly, to empower you. Our guest tonight was my mom. We did the mother-daughter edition, Miss Emma McGraw Myers, MSW. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Taking over the show.
I took over. I answered your questions. And yes, you can cook.
You answered my questions.
Yes.
Listeners, please comment on whether or not you believe Mommy answered my questions. The scale is 0 to 10. 10 is she answered my questions. 0 is she was a politician and said what she had planned to say before she walked in the door. So whether it's morning, whether it's night, whatever it is for you, thank you so much for tuning in. As my dad would say, love you enough to tell you the truth, respect you enough to give you the facts. See you next week, same time, same place. Thanks again, Mommy. Oh, you got to end with an African proverb or a quote.
Oh, well, I have a favorite one, right? And my favorite one is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Good
Have
night.
a great night.